बाबू मोशाय, ये जिंदगी एक रंगमंच है और हम सब कठपुतली।
Who scripted destiny? We are the creators of our own destiny. It is my own script given to my own self.
Am I the creator or the creation?
The entire philosophy falls like a pack of play cards.
Accounting subject, we draw ledgers. If there is karamphal or past life, like you said, two things, then is it a carry forward and brought forward just like in any other ledger?
Based upon a trait that they brought forward from their own past life, in which they had scripted for themselves when the child is born. All of these five, finding their own opportune moment, they start unfolding.
The destiny is a bigger word, and a subset of that is free will.
The exercise of free will at one time scripted my destiny. Exercise of free will in this present life can reconstitute the given destiny.
Sometimes when we are not able to get desired objectives, we are very quick to say it's all because of my destiny.
Once you have absolute clarity, you offer your entire existence to that change.
Which is the most apt Hindi word for destiny?
Prachanda Sankalp is the appropriate term for free will.
Lord Krishna said that make sure that you act.
The fruit, the ultimate outcome, karamphal. Once you establish the relationship of your life with this particular topic, the answer will automatically be unraveled.
Why should they relate to this topic, destiny and free will?
This subject should be of great importance to each one. You have the charge of your life.
Destiny is bhagya and free will is purusharth. That's the best word perhaps then.
At times people do purusharth, which also goes in meaningless aspects.
Namaskar. Life is beautiful, but a thought that must have crossed many a minds. That is life a scripted play? Is it all destiny? Or do we have a free will to create our own destiny? Let's explore in today's podcast. My name is Amit Arora, and to enlighten us on the theme destiny and free will, please welcome in the studios respected Guru Dinesh Kumar ji. Namaskar, sir. Dinesh ji is a teacher, he is an author, he's a motivator, and he's a guide in the dimension of consciousness. Dinesh ji, my first question is about the 1971 Hindi film Anand, where Rajesh Khanna's character says this dialogue, Babu Moshai, ye zindagi ek rangmanch hai aur hum sab katputli. So how do you see this dialogue where the actor says, life is a stage and we all are puppets?
Let me go at the back end of this dialogue. The prompt for this dialogue is the enactment, rangmanch, the stage. Someone must have scripted. The question should be, which is more pertinent, who scripted destiny? When we ask this question and probe it from the aspects of ancient Indian wisdom, each one of us has got all powers, all might. We are vested with entire prerogative to script our own destiny. It may appear to be as beyond control. We cannot exercise any regulation at times to the flow of events in our life, especially the adversarial ones. But the basic fundamental truth shall never mutate, and that is that we are the creators of our own destiny. We thoughtfully script the entire play, and then we ourselves become puppet to our own script. So if you ask me, who is the puppeteer?
Okay.
We ourselves are the puppeteer, and we ourselves become as the puppet of our own script, thoughtfully scripted as destiny. If you want to understand destiny in a slight detail, though the question has not been projected yet, but I would like to extend my answer by saying that according to the belief of the ancient Indian wisdom, the destiny can be classified into three categories, namely karmani, sanchit, and prarabdha. What do they mean? Karmani is something that results instantly. Any act of negligence or with complete awareness, if the response to that, the reaction to that is confronted there and then, that is karmani. You eat something which is very spicy, thereafter it results into acidity, is karmani. Then the second category that holds the maximum amount of store in any destiny is sanchit, which means the accumulated karma which is prone to mutation, good or bad. When we use the term karma, it should be very well understood in both the aspects, good or bad. So when I say any karma can be mutated, it automatically translates as good karma, which is sanchit category, can be mutated into bad. Bad karma, the sanchit one, can be mutated into good. So the mutation is on both the sides. I will not go into the details of how, etc. The third, which is the most crucial one, which is immutable, appears to be immutable, that is prarabdha. Prarabdha holds a very small percentage of the total envelope of one's destiny. Say for instance, if my envelope of destiny weighs 100 grams, then let me take the liberty to go and express that not more than 10% should comprise as prarabdha. Prarabdha is immutable. Why immutable? Because it was thoughtfully exercised at any point of time. Whether I willed it thoughtfully, I acted upon it thoughtfully, I accomplished an act thoughtfully, and as a result to that, an immutable form of script has been vested upon me, whether in the present life or in the life to come. So prarabdha cannot be altered. You have to undergo your prarabdha. And generally, people remain oblivion to good prarabdha. They only rise in protest to bad prarabdha, and that is when the entire ambit of the astrology, various kinds of remedies, etc. arises, and even arises the cause of the discussion that we are transpiring at the moment. What is destiny? How should I take destiny as? So I've explained to you what destiny is. It is my own script given to my own self to experience. I hold more than 80% of my own might, if I exercise it rightly, to change my destiny, leaving aside or barring the 10% which is immutable. And that 10% does not intervene into my day-to-day dispensation in the life, whatever it may be. So that is the initial answer to your question about destiny.
So, Guruji, if I have understood correctly, we're saying that there are three important components: karmani, sanchit, and prarabdha. And together they form destiny.
Yes.
If you are saying 80% of this is within my control,
more than 80%.
More than 80% is more than 80% of this component is what free will is then?
If exercised, only then it is free will. If not rightfully exercised, then I have to experience whatever I scripted as my own karma. If I want to change it, I want to alter it, it is like given a barren piece of land which had undulating surface. Nowhere there was any level, but through your own intervention, your own perseverance, you initiated upon a pursuit to flatten it, and then after that, creating meaningful avenues upon that piece of land. You changed it, you altered it. And if you leave it barren as it is, you accept what has come to you. So that more than 80% of it can be certainly altered, reconstituted, recreated, mutated by the exercise of your own individual might. Yes.
So when our mind says, Guruji, that am I the creator or the creation? On similar lines, you are saying, I am not just the puppet, but the puppeteer himself.
Yes. I am the creator in the larger creation, vested with the entire prerogative to act as a creator.
Okay.
Creation, though, may be a larger entity that encompasses within it various things. That's humongous. The entire cosmos is a part of it. When I come upon my own life, my individual life, let me decipher the aspects of destiny from the light of my own life. Yes, under this larger plan of the creation, I am the creator of my own destiny.
So when someone says destiny is fixed, destiny is pre-decided, a child born into a wealthy family or a poor family brings his own destiny, how do we respond to that?
The child scripted its own destiny in its own past life. In the ancient Indian wisdom, there are two fundamental fulcrums upon which the entire understanding banks upon. You remove either of them, the entire philosophy falls like a pack of play cards. The one is, yes, karma has a reaction. That is karma phal, the outcome. And the second is punarjanam, reincarnation. There is a life after. Both of these, either of them you remove, it falls like a pack of play cards. So we believe, strongly believe, and not only believe, beliefs can be challenged by various kinds of proposition which make one belief to turn as a misnomer, misconstrued, misunderstood act of or belief of fallacy. But when it is supported by some facts, then it is not merely a belief, becomes a science. And this is a science. I am not aware whether you had a future question to project before me, to present before me, that how do we understand that I had a life before? Does any of the traits come into this present life that express the veracity of my past life, my past traits? Yes. Should I go on to answer, or will you ask me another question for this?
No, I want to ask a question on similar lines, that in the accounting subject, we draw ledgers, salary account, rent account, all the expenses and sales. And then when the financial year closes, Guruji, we say brought forward or carry forward. And for the new financial year, we say brought forward. So I wanted to know if there is karamphal or past life, like you said, two things, then is it a carry forward and brought forward just like in any other ledger?
Exactly, yes. It is so. You see, when a child is born open to this world for its own programming, yet it has got certain operating system vested into itself, which is very unique, distinctive, which it has not been superimposed by the family or the surrounds, but something unique that makes it a wonderful creation in its own capacity. There are many children born in conditions which are very poor. There is paucity of resources all over. Good education missing, good amenities missing, good guidance missing, yet they outshine. They perform totally different to what exactly they were given to experience as. Why? Based upon what? Based upon a trait that they brought forward from their own past life, in which they had scripted for themselves certain propensities which are now unraveling as their present destiny.
But is this carry forward of the trait of a personality a subject of the body or the soul?
Yes, this question is very important. For this, you will have to slightly deflect into another subject if you really want to have a true understanding of this aspect. A human existence, according to ancient Indian wisdom, is encased into 5 subtle sheaths. It starts from the gross sheath, which we term as Annamaya Kosha. The moment we deploy this term Kosh, it means a treasure, which means immensity into it. Annamaya Kosh, it bears the signatures of our all experience that we give to ourselves through our diet. Now, another understanding which enjoins to this, diet means taste, diet means impact, no more than that. When we term Annamaya Kosh, then it should be understood we are talking about the sanskara of the diet. What was the source of revenue that was utilized to provide you the diet? Good money, bad money, consumed with good thoughts, bad thoughts, confused thoughts, whatever. That becomes the part of your Annamaya Kosh, and that travels along with the Jivatma. Likewise, there are different sheaths. Pranamaya Kosh of energy, then Manomaya Kosh of the mind, Vijnanamaya Kosh, entire experiential dimension, then the blissful dimension of Anandamaya Kosh. These 5 subtle sheaths, they travel along. And when the time comes, when the child is born, all of these 5, finding their own opportune moment, they start unfolding. They unravel to unleash their own distinctive propensity.
Okay.
So they are the signatures that make any human being within a homogeneous environment a very distinctive one. Within the homogeneous surround, if people outshine, if people act very differently, then that generates from the basic cause, the purpose is given by the subtle dimension of Annamaya Kosh. We term it as Sukshma Sharira.
So the carry forward, brought forward, therefore is an interplay of both body and soul. And through these sheets.
Individuality.
Okay.
Personality would not be the right word to use.
Okay.
Because persona is about pretentious aspects of the face. So individuality. It's the existential dimension where everything is enshrined.
Okay. Well, in conversation with revered Guru Dinesh Kumar ji, where the topic of discussion today is destiny and free will, let me ask and recap the definition of both destiny and free will. So for the benefit of viewers, can we say, Guruji, that destiny is a bigger word and a subset of that is free will?
No. Destiny is something that we script. In contrary to that, or in parallel to that, either of that word you can deploy as it suits, is the free will, exercise of free will. The exercise of free will at one time scripted my destiny. Exercise of free will in this present life can reconstitute the given destiny, and at the same moment, through my own spontaneity, the reactions in my spontaneity, by free will, I can script my own future destiny. So that means that this going, the moment which is at the moment flowing, this now, in this I can do 2 major assignments at the same time.
Okay.
One, I can alter, rescript what has come to me. Second, I can create for my own future a script of my choice if I act through complete awareness. When it comes to change the given destiny, it means you have to slog and struggle. Because I gave to myself a script which I had to act upon. I was a puppet. Now, being a puppet, I want to change the role as a puppeteer as well at the same time. So I want to go back to the threads. So to be able to leap upward and have the charge of the threads to rescript my destiny now, in this life, present life, I need to make an extra effort. And that extra effort is struggle, sangharsh, sadhana.
So in maths, we draw the Venn diagram. If it is not a bigger set and subset, are these two circles mutually exclusive? Are these two circles like this where there is an overlap between destiny and free will? How do we draw the Venn diagram?
I would say that they coexist.
Okay.
They coexist with free will having
Okay.
the ultimate say upon destiny.
Okay.
Because destiny itself is an outcome of free will,
Okay. Not the other way.
not the other way. Free will creates destiny, not that destiny creates free will.
So one can choose to become whatever they want to. How can we bring this reconstitution in our day-to-day behavior? Because viewers will agree, sometimes when we are not able to get desired objectives, we are very quick to say it's all because of my destiny.
Becoming more aware, removing all those aspects that confuse, delude me from clarity of my own objectives. That is the foremost task that should be given to such an incumbent who wants to alter the present destiny. The destiny that one is confronting. If it is not acceptable, then you should be very well aware, what do I want to change? Why do I want to change? Am I clear about that? Do I hold absolute clarity about that? Once you have absolute clarity, you offer your entire existence to that change, whatever you devise for yourself. Then your perseverance is going to make difference. Time may matter. It may be so that you draw a timeline to change your destiny, present destiny, as 1 year. The actual outcome comes in 5 years. That may happen. But that should not bother you at all. If you have gathered your entire might to challenge and change that you scripted once for yourself, then you should also have that kind of a patience to hold on and slog, keep struggling, not accepting what is coming to you with clarity and also at the same time with all readiness. Agility is the term that they deploy these days. Readiness, preparedness to change whatever has to be changed in the light of your new objective. Whatever you want to see yourself now, today, in this life, if any and everything has to be changed for its sake, you should be prepared for that. Mercilessly, Nirmam, mercilessly try to change yourself. Then there is no giving away. Therein there is no submission. Submission has to be only to your objective. Beyond that, you should not. You should take yourself by your own individuality by horn. That say that take the bull by horn. Here the bull is you yourself. You are bullying yourself. You're disallowing yourself not to achieve, not to accomplish what exactly you aspire because things are not happening the way you want them to happen. You want to change. And change is not easy. It was never easy. Be prepared to take yourself mercilessly. If you become merciless with your own self, not that you should skip your meals, etc. This connotation of mercilessness has to be with some wisdom.
And compassion.
Wisdom is foremost.
Okay.
Compassion is a very harmful tool at times.
Okay.
Because compassion, if it is not guided by wisdom, can create pockets and avenues of people who want to simply receive without doing their part. Karuna can be a poison also, if not rightfully exercised. So merciless should be the ones that now strongly intend to bring the change in whatever is coming to them, they disallow. They should be merciless. Any mercy given is a discount coupon issued to yourself to now deflect.
So one behavioral change we can bring in our daily lives from today itself, that we should not be blaming anything on destiny?
Excuses should be begone for them who truly aspire to change the way they want to bring the coming future to themselves. For them, there is no room for any excuse. Excuses towards the right, towards the left, towards 10 directions that flow out from you. These are all points from where your creative intellect, your creative energy, your creative resource shall leak through. So you have to plug these holes. Excuses is one of the tallest one. It has to be all directed inward. No room for any excuse. I'm given with this set of situations. I'm given with this set of script to me. Within this given set of script, let me see what all and where all can I bring a change. And once I determine that with clarity, I draw my plan, then I start acting mercilessly. Even if I'm asked to use this term 20 more times, I would be very open vehemently to use this term mercilessly.
Well, that's a very profound thought. We are in conversation with Guru Dinesh Kumar ji today on the topic destiny and free will. For those of us who will probably understand these two terms better by an equivalent Hindi word, so for destiny we hear the word kismat, bhagya, prarabdh. Which is the most apt Hindi word for destiny?
Sankalp Shakti, Prachand Sankalp. Prachand Sankalp is the appropriate term for free will.
Okay.
Because unless you have an indomitable, resolute will, nothing can change. An indomitable, resolute will is an outcome of free will, exercise of free will.
So, destiny is Sankalp Shakti and free will is Prachand Sankalp.
Destiny is Prarabdha.
Destiny is
Bhagya.
Prarabdha. Destiny is Bhagya. Okay.
Bhagya. Then free will is Sankalp Shakti.
Sankalp Shakti. And are these complementary forces? Could they be opposing forces too?
They could be opposing.
Okay.
Something which is unacceptable to me as my present state of affairs is naturally a protest. So I'm opposing it.
Okay.
Isn't it? I'm opposing it. And for example, for that matter, if I've given a good destiny, I'm cherishing my destiny, yet I'm unaccomplished. There are people who are vested with the destiny which take them to great heights. They cherish that affluence, abundance, name, fame, yet they are inconclusive, yet they are prone to high levels of anxiety, stress, fear, incompleteness. That inner vacuum haunts them. So here again, the destiny was with a golden spoon, whereas their own experience at the moment with their free will, not exactly free will, but the way their experience is totally inconclusive. Had it been one complementing other, that I am enjoying the heights that I have been given by my destiny.
Okay.
I am into my completeness.
Okay.
Then one should term oneself as the deity vested or incarnated in human form.
Okay.
A God incarnated in the human form is a human who cherishes its destiny and considers the completeness and accomplishment of one's life. Is a God born with the human face, which I don't think you can easily find.
Okay. And since, we're all part of the universe, sometimes we also say it's in my stars.
Well, the interpretations could be again with the color of the mind of the interpreter. With my particular understanding, I interpret it that the knocking part is your free will.
Okay. And it's essential.
Unless you knock it, you are into a perpetual, a mode of suffering. Suffering without any say. Suffering without any right. Suffering without exercising your primary discretion of free will. Just suffering. So you want to simply suffer, the choice is again yours. Go on excusing, passing on excuses, go on blaming this or that. If nothing is visible, then the unseen. Bhagwan, if you exhaust your blame chain through the visible world, then it goes on forward towards the unseen. So are you one of them? This question has to be projected to your own self and determine, who am I? Am I going to knock down the door that bars me to charter the way I want to? Or shall I accept whatever is coming to me? The unacceptable aspects which one cannot change in life are very few. There are things which you cannot change.
That's the 20% you had mentioned.
10%.
10%. Okay.
That is 10%. You cannot change.
Okay.
Okay. If that 10% cannot be changed, what about the remaining 90%?
Yes.
What am I doing? Am I drawing the blanket of 10% upon that entire 90%? Am I enveloping myself with an excuse that this 10% is the only rider, the governing factor that determines the course of my life? If you are that one, then you're totally misled. Had it been so, there was no need for Lord Krishna to manifest Bhagavad Gita from those divine realms for the Arjuna. Krishna is timeless. Arjuna too is timeless. So both of them are timeless characters. Wherever there is agony, there is delusion, confusion, yet potential, that is Arjuna. That inconclusiveness, incompleteness is Arjuna, under dissuasion. And that guide, motivator, that divine whisper is Krishna. Krishna had to detail through his curriculum of 18 chapters. Yet in the last chapter, in the concluding remarks, he leaves everything upon Arjuna. Whatever you determine for yourself, do accordingly. I have shown you the entire plan. I have shown you the entire yogic anatomy. I have given you the subtle truths of the existence. Yet, the final decision is yours, which means exercise of free will.
But the God all these years knew that the Kurukshetra war will happen. That's destiny.
That destiny also was an outcome of probably some acts that were thoughtfully acted upon some point of time. Everything is connected, everything is entangled. If everything is entangled and connected, so is the exercise of free will. Change is also connected.
So the essence of sacred Gita is what we all need to be aware of. Like Lord Krishna said, that make sure that you act. आप कर्म करिए, फल की चिंता मत करिए. So don't bother about the fruit. Is that the essence of destiny and free will also?
No, don't worry about the fruit should be rightfully interpreted. Otherwise, it can mislead.
Okay.
The basic understanding one should draw from this, because I am not interpreting, I have done the interpretation of it in separate classes.
Yes.
Exhaustive classes were conducted for that. It's a different aspect. But I'll give you the riding principle, and that understanding is, give your 100% when you are acting upon any pursuit. At that moment, your insight should not be disturbed or infringed by a simple outcome that you want to derive as a fruit. As a fruit, not the outcome that come in transition. There are several outcomes that keep coming in the transition for which you prepare yourself to change the strategy, etc. You make so many changes, isn't it?
Yes.
The fruit, the ultimate outcome, karamphal. If that hovers upon your mind, it will disallow you to give your 100% to the task ahead. You should remain totally focused with absolute vairagya. And that is only possible when nothing else comes to intervene, to deflect you, to distort your ongoing connectivity in your own pursuit. So go on, give your 100% to the karma at hand. to the pursuit at hand, for your perseverance. That is the real meaning of this particular shloka.
So, sacred Gita is like a questionnaire where Arjun is asking questions and only then Lord Krishna answers. So, when we talk about destiny and free will, to the viewers, what should be the appropriate questions they should ask themselves so that they can understand this topic of destiny and free will in a better manner?
First of all, the foremost question should be, why do I want to understand?
Okay.
What is the relation of this subject to me and my life? Once you establish the relationship of your life with this particular topic, the answer will automatically be unraveled. Because you would always like to connect yourself with the subject. Unless you connect, there is no element of interest. The element of interest with any topic will itself unravel to you what you should be doing. Either you don't accept it, whatever is ongoing in your life, or you want to bring some changes in yourself, but you're not able to bring those changes. And if you're not able to bring any change in your life, in whatever dimension it may be, then the question comes that, do I have to undergo? Do I have to experience it without any say, without any room for change? These questions will arise.
Okay.
Now the subject is of your concern. If you want to bring a change in whatever is ongoing in your life, you want to create something new, create something different, then this subject holds all meaning to you. Dil ki raza pehle jaan lo. Once you know at your depths what you want to accomplish, then this subject will carry more weight, more significance, more gravity to your understanding.
And do you think every household should become aware? Why should they relate to this topic, destiny and free will?
Every human being, why household? Household is just a garb.
Okay.
These are different garbs that we are given to.
Okay.
As a professional, as a citizen, as a parent, as a child, spouse, etc. These are garb. A human, each human, born as a human, this subject should be of great importance to each one. Each one.
How can parents initiate a dialogue on this, and to which age group?
There is no age for this. Right from 2 years onward, you can start exercising upon this understanding. You have the charge of your life. You behold the might to create your destiny. You can create, change, give to yourself the life you want. So first of all, aspire. Aspire with absolute clarity at your own depths. Not that you take a vision which is borrowed. Borrowed visions never sustain. It has to arise from your own depths. So with clarity, allow a vision, an objective to rise from your own depths. And by use of exercise of free will, then you will be able to manifest whatever you want. Since understanding can be given to a child right from 2 years onward.
And they can start exercising their free will from then only.
At least if they start understanding this concept, their entire psychology shall be reconstituted in such a manner that any and every challenge that they shall confront, which is certainly going to be in the life, adversaries, adversarial, adversity in many forms is going to come. But if you are programmed to not to accept it, it's unacceptable, and you want to give your protest, your change, your effort, then it does not matter whether you were in the first standard or you were in the doctorate. We grow age-wise, but the seeds of our own inner propensities are sustained throughout the life. आदमी बड़ा होता है, बूढ़ा भी. बूढ़ा होना प्रकृति है, बड़ा होना पुरुषार्थ, that is free will. Let's take an audit. हिसाब लगाना होगा कि हम सिर्फ बूढ़े हुए या बड़े भी. So your propensities at the age of 3 years or 4 years may continue lifelong. So if you cultivate a new propensity into the child of exercising your free will, you will change the entire individuality for the entire life. So the age is 3 years. If you ask me, 2 to 3 years.
Okay. So coming back to the question I'd asked, the most appropriate Hindi word. So we're saying destiny is bhagya and free will is purusharth. That's the best word perhaps then.
Purusharth can really be a good word which can be deployed for this, but the real connotation which is going to serve your purpose is Sankalp Shakti.
Okay. And in this Sankalp Shakti,
At times people do Purusharth, which also goes in meaningless aspects.
okay. So in this Sankalp Shakti or resolve, as the child rises, it is almost given he'll have confusion as he evolves, many questions. What's the role of the teacher? Because a child these days spends significant number of hours in the school. Should then a topic like destiny and free will make it to the school curriculum?
I may give a different thought to that. I believe the teacher, in my own understanding, is the mother, not the curriculums. The teachers have a limited role to play. Why? With the given size of the classroom, they can certainly pass on very vital phrases, no doubt. But with having 40, 50 children in the class, to sculpture each one of them with that careful attention may not be that easy. With the time span given to a teacher in a class, and then various other aspects, so many roles they have to dispense with. A mother, everything comes to the mother. She is the real creator of this planet.
Why absolve fathers from their responsibility?
Fathers are not absolved from it. They are collaborators,
Okay.
facilitators. They have to exercise a role, no doubt. But what a mother can accomplish in a child, father may not be able to do that. And that is a bias which has been done by the nature. We have to accept that. A mother at a tender age can do wonders. 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 Once the children grow, they go out of their hands, then of course the exercise of the mother's will then depletes. I accept that. Yet, in India, the mothers, they do not absolve themselves from such a role.
Okay.
They keep doing whatever is possible at their end. If nothing, keep cribbing.
Yes.
Mother.
So to all the parents and particularly the mothers watching this episode, where we're in conversation with the revered master, Dinesh Kumarji, and the topic is destiny and free will, can you share a story? Because children understand concepts better with storytelling. Can you help the mothers with some stories that they can narrate to their child and help them understand what sometimes look complicated? How do I understand destiny and free will in an easy manner?
Well, I will not give them any story. Rather, in the capacity of a teacher, I'll give them homework. If they're serious enough to bring change, first of all. Because stories, you fancy them,
Okay.
you enjoy them, and then you forget them. If a task is given to you and you accomplish the task, that is going to bring change into you itself.
Okay.
To the mothers, I give a task, a homework. Find out those Rishikas in the Vedic era. We know about Rishis, the male. But there were Rishikas. Rishika means the female Rishis. Find out about the Rishikas in the Vedic era and their role, their contribution to the Vedic wisdom and the way they were able to conduct their own personal lives. You will start finding those accomplishments which many of them were able to accomplish through right from the moment when they started conceiving a child. Because a mother can choose, determined to choose the kind of the soul she wants to impregnate with.
Okay.
That is the exercise of free will at the end of a mother. Believe or disbelieve, it's all left to you.
Okay.
I'm not going to profess beyond a limit,
Okay.
but I have got hundreds of examples with me in physical form where a mother started propitiating a particular mantra or strongly held particular kind of a belief, would surf day in, day out, during the moments of conceiving and the pregnancy, all through 9 months. The particular kind of belief she held upon determined the invocation of a particular kind of a soul to incarnate. And then she nurtured it within her own womb. When the child was then born, I got a number of examples of that. When the child was born, the mother deflected. To the moment she delivered the baby, she was under the strong thought, strong belief of whatever kind she was undergoing, whether a mantra or whatever. Now she deflected to the normal course of life, but that child which was born with as an incarnation of all those propensities that she had manifested within herself.
Okay.
Independent to the mother, the child then starts moving in its own individuality. Even an astonishing factor for the mother, मैं तो ऐसी नहीं थी, ये ऐसा निकला है, उन दिनों में ऐसा करती थी.
Okay.
So that way, exercise of free will, right from the invocation of the soul to be impregnated, then giving this world a wonderful human being who can act as a god to serve many.
Yeah, that's a wonderful task. So once again, we request that, like Guruji said, do find out the stories of Rishikas, and once you do your own research, please share on the comment box of YouTube link as well. But since we talked about Rishikas and mothers, I have this question in my mind. Sometimes we also hear in the families that to a particular parent, we had 3 children. And see, one went on to become a very ethical person, maybe a police officer, a lawyer, a doctor serving the society. The other went the wrong way, embraced corruption. How do you see that the same mother, but children going in different directions? Destiny, free will.
This is an illustration. You're giving yourself an illustration to establish the past life, the traits of the past life. Otherwise, given the same set of conditions, upbringing, same parents, everything same, yet everything pulls apart. Why? The traits from the past life. The traits from the past life were the indelible impression that could not be obliterated, and the particular being started acting upon that.
But the traits of the past life, is it necessary that the person has to be a human being in past life? It could be any life form.
In general, now here, many people have many kind of different understanding. Well, but in any case, in the evolutionary cycle of the human life, according to the ancient Indian wisdom, it is seldom that you are demoted as another being, another species. Whereas that may be one, maybe in several millions. But in the general parlance, a human being is being given another opportunity to incarnate as a human itself.
But would you agree then, Guruji, that freedom is the highest core value of a being? And therefore, if we invest more in free will, like you said, that destiny is something we script. Destiny is the outcome of the free will that we exercise. So the more we invest in free will, are we getting closer to our core value of being liberated?
Yes, indeed. The exercise of free will itself leads to emancipation, moksha. What is moksha? how can that be ultimately acquired? I'm saying using the word very specifically acquired. Although we believe that we are already mukta, but how it can be acquired, just for the common understanding. See, that also is going to be free will. Because unless you exercise free will, the priorities of this life will never be changed. A human is driven by the priorities it gives to itself. Priorities are ascertained or determined by the kind of deep interest you behold, isn't it? So this cycle needs to be changed. There has to be a cut somewhere, which means either you start from your disinterestedness, or you start by unaccepting the way things are going on, wherever you want to start from. Ultimately, this cycle has to be broken. Unless you break the cycle, change shall not come.
Sometimes when somebody wants to break the generational cycle, they also say that, okay, I have now been enlightened with the wisdom that invest more in free will. But how does my destiny or free will gets impacted by, say, my family members, my friends, because there are other people in the society I'm interacting with? Will their karam phal, will their decisions also impact my destiny and free will?
Yes, to certain extents, yes. But yet again, if you have that formidable free will, then nothing at all shall be able to envelop it, confine it, nothing. The free will shall rise above as a Nachiketa,
Okay.
the fire,
Yes.
leading upward, moving upward, nothing will. But yes, to certain extents, the people around us, their destiny certainly impacts us. We cannot evade that. Again, their relationship with us is an outcome of some script where we were also part and parcel in a past life. But I will confine my answer to only one aspect.
Yes.
Let me not create another avenue for excuses.
Yes.
If you have that resolute will, free will, yes, n number of impacts they may accrue, yet they will not be able to resist you from the way you want to steer life towards.
So another profound thought we like to recap here is that if you invest more and more in free will, it'll get you closer to attaining moksha or salvation. We are here in this podcast in conversation with revered Guru Dinesh Kumar ji. And since Dinesh ji, you are an respected ancient Indian wisdom teacher, we did touch upon the anecdote from Mahabharata. But as someone who understands the Vedas, Upanishads, and teaches the society as well, where else in the ancient text does destiny or free will find mention?
Chandogya Upanishad.
Okay.
I'll only give a small mention to that, not going into details. Sarvam khalu idam brahma tajjalan iti shantah upasit. The verse goes on, but I'll confine to that. Which means that it is concluded, which means that the entire research has now resulted into a final conclusion. This means Sarvam Khaluidam Brahma. Sarvam Khaluidam. It has been concluded that everything and anything, whatever is there, is the same entity understood as Brahma. The same law, the same raw material, everything is the same. Brahma. One should thoughtfully, with a harmonized, in a state of harmony, tajjalan iti shantah upasit. Shant hokar upasana karna. Which means sit down in harmony. Upasan. Upasana means upasan. Which means sitting beside in discipline with complete awareness. That is upasana. Chota asan leke पास बैठना, किसके अपने पास बैठना. If you are in absolute harmony, to gain more clarity, whatever you determine upon, that shall become your destiny in this life or the life to come. This particular verse, I'm not taking the other aspect because then I'll have to go for the interpretation of that too. But this establishes in Chandogya Upanishad the Vedic wisdom.
Okay.
Upanishad means Vedic wisdom.
Yes.
So in the Chandogya Upanishad, this is established. Everything is one. Out of this oneness, you can manifest whatever you want in this life and the life to follow, the life to come. It's all upon to you. But you have to sit down in state of harmony to gain more clarity in order to manifest. If you are under a haphazard pattern of thinking, achinta chintanam, thinking 60,000 flashes in a day, scrolling the entire day upon the shorts and reels, then obviously you're leading yourself. It's like a rudderless ship. पानी में कभी right तो कभी left. लहर बताएगी जाना कहाँ. Where do you want to go? You don't know. लहर बताएगी ना. So the particular verse of Chandogya Upanishad says that you can steer your future the way you want because it has to come from that same oneness. Wherefrom comes the rudderless ship, the ship which shall become a Titanic, or a ship which shall traverse through the most beautiful experiences of this life. Everything depends upon your upasana, your state of harmony, your clarity, your perseverance, your pursuit.
Absolutely. Very nice. So from Vedic wisdom, let me talk about the present era. In the 21st century, we talk about technology being a force multiplier, technology ensuring inclusive, sustainable development, and the fact that technology should be democratized so that it benefits everyone. How do you see AI and the emerging technology? Can they help us connect more with that expression of the free will?
The development of AI itself is exercise of free will.
Okay.
Right now, it's in an embryonic stage. That is why people are scared of it. That there is going to be a tsunami of job loss, job opportunities are going to diminish, etc., etc. It is always there. Whenever there is a new ushering, it happens. But with the given passage of time, everything will settle. A new breed of people shall then arise because ultimately to take work from the AI also mandates for a specialist.
We still require human intelligence.
Without human intervention, you cannot take work from AI. If you frankly ask me, just simply to ask the AI to rescript a paragraph, there can be people who can rescript that paragraph through the deployment of AI in 100 ways, the same paragraph. It all depends upon the way you exercise your prompt.
Absolutely. So asking the right prompt is also expression of free will.
Obviously.
Yes.
And the number of people who are going to be then perfect, the experts of creating prompts, is again generation of new jobs.
Yes.
More opportunities to exercise free will.
Yes. Absolutely.
So this technology will always make more room for exercise of free will. It will be given, it will be handed over certain tasks which were otherwise mundane, were trying to counteract our productivity, the pace of work, that will be taken over. But human intelligence, with the intervention of technology, will create more opportunities for exercise of free will. Because then you will be able to envision new heights. You will have better lofty objectives to cherish. You would like to charter the uncharted dimensions. Again through free will.
Yes, absolutely.
So there is not going to be any end to that. A very bright future is ahead.
Absolutely. So we have to embrace technology, and even this podcast is a benefit of technology where words of wisdom from Guruji is reaching out to people across the globe. If they would like to now invest more in understanding destiny, free will, and the other such related concepts, because awareness is important, please tell us about the courses that you run that we all can be part of.
See, the course in the light of this particular topic that we conduct. In Hindi, it has been so far conducted and imparted to several, hundreds and hundreds of people.
Okay.
If not given the number, if I don't give it to thousands and thousands. In English, we are now going to start the same course by the term of true will. True will is the right term which we give to Sankalp Shakti.
Okay.
Will is Sankalp.
Okay.
True will, a meaningful true will. So that is something which is a kind of a mentoring program that we envisage to conduct. I don't know when this video will be released, but whenever it will be released, within 8 to 10 weeks from thereafter, whenever it is released, because the videos will remain forever upon the channel. So from the date of this release of the video, 8 weeks to 10 weeks after that, that particular mentoring program, online mentoring program shall be launched in English.
Okay.
In Hindi, it is already ongoing.
Okay. Okay. So it'll be in 2 languages then. Hindi is already there. Now, True Will will also be available in English.
In English.
So that's another big benefit of technology. Okay. So let me recap the learnings and the awareness that we've done on destiny and free will. Here's another poem, and then do recap for us the entire episode. It says, destiny may script the opening line. Free will chooses how I shine. Fate may draw the outer frame. Choices steps in to shape the game. If destiny plants the silent seed, free will becomes the living deed. Faith accepts what life may send. Will decides how stories blend. Destiny sets the path in view. Free will walks it, brave and true. What is written, I receive with trust. What I become is shaped by choice and just. And the last 2 lines, between what's destined and what's done, free will and destiny move as one.
Free will, when it supersedes, then destiny has to submit. Let the last line be slightly altered.
Okay.
If free will truly acts, then destiny has to submit before it.
And that requires courage, clarity.
Clarity, foremost.
Wisdom.
Clarity with outcome of wisdom is clarity.
Okay.
In fact, it cannot be exercised devoid of wisdom.
Okay, clarity.
The clarity is the foremost one. And after clarity is merciless courage. Mercilessness towards your own self. Courage may be a very wide term, but mercilessness will define it towards whom? Mercilessness towards one's own self in the light of one's pursuit. That will ensure that you will cover the distance that you intend.
And are there any questions unanswered? Because any topic, there's always scope of research. What are the research areas in destiny and free will?
You yourself are the laboratory of the tallest research that can be conducted any point of time. A human life is a laboratory, the laboratory of consciousness. We use the word adhyatma. I belong to this understanding which is adhyatma. Adhyat means the science of consciousness. And this human body, the human entity, is the tallest laboratory for that. You can conduct as many experiments you want to conduct within your own self. The research and the findings that can one accomplish within oneself bring true change, true meaning, true accomplishments. Because outward, whatever you accomplish or achieve or experience, it has an age. It will obliterate.
It'll always leave a vacuum.
You'll become oblivion to that. Whatever you experience within yourself, that's the real tangible self that you give to your own self. The tangible self is the experiential plane within a human. Anubhuti. Jag jhutha, anubhuti sachi. So give yourself anubhuti within your own self. So that experiment must be done. I have enough to say, but I will confine to the subject of the day. I would not like to prolong it more. If you are left with any questions, you can.
Well, on that note, we like to conclude by expressing our reverence and gratitude to Guru Dinesh Kumar ji. Thank you so much, sir, for the clarity on the topic destiny and free will. And may all of us continue to explore the dimensions of being a human being. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.